Thank you, President Sands. Congratulations, class of 2023. Let's see a little bit of energy in this room. Congratulations, my dear friends. And to your great faculty, thank you for lending me such a smart outfit. I don't see this kind of uniforms in NATO every day, but for a change, thank you for that. My dear friends, today is a big day. It's a memorable and exciting day for you, the students, your families, and also myself. I want to recognize the emotion I feel in this room from all your loved ones, your families, your friends, your relatives, who are either present today or following this ceremony online. Over your years here, you have forged friendships and connections that I know will endure for years. They will accompany you as you will embark or resume your professional and personal journeys. But before going any further, let me also add my deep sense of appreciation and wishing Happy Mother's Day to everyone that is so important in our lives. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. And what a wonderful gift for the mothers to either graduate themselves on this day or to watch their children graduate. Like your parents, dear friends, I've been fortunate and emotional to see both my kids graduate from universities in the United States. I know how proud you feel, dear parents and families, and I know what a sense of immense joy and belonging together you develop in this great ceremony. In fact, my daughter, Anna, did not only graduate in the US, she met her husband here in her senior year at Penn University. And they were soon to be married, so watch out, parents, mothers, things might happen in this very room if they're not happening already. It is also important, at a day that university's leadership team, and I know because I used to be professor, and I invested a lot in leadership in all my long years of life. I know how proud they feel to see so much talent. And I know that sometimes faculty and students, there's not always, heaven under the sun, but I know that they deserve our praise. Let's also thank them for the hard work to bringing you here. Two very good friends of mine have a direct relationship with Virginia Tech. Ambassador Taubman, a formidable business leader and former ambassador to my home country of Romania, is a VT graduate. And also my very good political friend, Congressman Connolly, who is a huge VT supporter and introduced me to President Sands. So in a way, I think, Gene Connolly, if you're watching us, I think you're also part of this conspiracy to bring me here today. I'm also sure that many of you will also take an important position in public service or private industry for the benefit of your community, of your countries, and of the world as such. And if you're trying to find jobs in international organizations, here I am. I also run human resources in NATO, so there's tough to get into NATO, but I know with the talent here, many of you would I hope, qualify and apply. I'm in awe for the knowledge and expertise there is here in this great university and in the great state of Virginia. The Center for Innovative Technology, the CIT, is here close by. I first visited it in 1997 when I was a very young Romanian ambassador to the United States. At that time, I didn't know so much about the complexity of American politics or the complexity of world affairs. But the CIT was somehow something a little bit unique and strange in a way. An isolated, modern building on the way from and to the Dallas International Airport. All the planet is coming through Dallas. So I think not only me as a Romanian wondering what's going on with this inverted pyramid, that particular architecture is so disruptive for such a beautiful scenery. The only kind of its own in the area. Futuristic, daring, and quite telling of what was to come. For me, the iconic building reflected openness, inclusivity, and boundless opportunities. And it symbolized the immense potential of Virginia as a hub for innovation. But an inverted pyramid can also symbolize a world turned upside down. And this is indeed the right visual metaphor for the world that you, my dear young friends, you will be living in. Full of the promise of innovation, but also full of the risks attached to a dramatically changing and uncertain world. Look at Virginia Tech, the very reason why CIT was started a quarter century back, to nurture the system of innovation and the magnet that a great university represents for business and government and international students alike. This academic institution has spearheaded innovation and nurtured a wide system like no other on the East Coast of America. There is so much potential right here. Innovation is booming in this great university. And I count on all of you, and the ones before you, and the ones coming after you, to continue to make it grow. In a short while, you will receive your well-deserved and prestigious graduate degree. It marks the end of a chapter, and the start of a new one. So now you might wonder, if you don't have it figured out already, what's next? Well, I do not have a crystal ball, and not even the inverted pyramid could tell us the exact future. Back then, like today, we had to navigate uncharted territory. But I've been around the block for some time now. I've seen much of the world. I've seen much of the people. I've seen much of politics. I've seen much of diplomacy. I've seen much of talent. And let me try to give you just a few things I learned, hopefully that this will be useful in your wonderful lives and careers you're starting today. For one, the world needs people like you, tech-savvy, creative thinkers, disruptors, innovators, and I know, future great leaders. Because we have some very difficult problems to solve and barriers to address, my dear friends. These are critical times for our societies, for our economies, and for our security. Russia's war on Ukraine has shattered peace in Europe and the rule-based international order. It is indeed under great pressure, and this is important to all of us. This order that has kept us safe and ensured prosperity and freedom for over 7 decades. That places personal freedom, democracy, and the rule of law above the petty desires of autocrats and dictators. War is back in Europe and could happen anywhere around the world. Making Ukraine prevail in this war and win this war is important not only for Ukraine or for Europe, because what happens today in Europe could happen tomorrow in Asia or anywhere else. And look how bravely and innovatively the Ukrainians are using from the shelf tech apps to shoot down Russian drones. Or how big tech firms and NGOs join hands to deter cyber and hybrid attacks against civilian populations and infrastructures. Strategic competition is fierce. Security challenges are multiplying, both in the real world, in the digital world, in cyberspace, in space, and God knows, because you're so young, on a different planet. It's also true that we are re-entering something that we believed was over at the end of the Cold War, in an era of great power competition. Russia is a threat, as I mentioned, but terrorists threaten our citizens. Iran is using cyber against Albania and many other nations. For the first time in centuries, we face a formidable competitor in China that has both the intent and the ability to reshape the international order. Great power competition is back. At the same time, we are confronted with climate change, with nuclear proliferation, sophisticated cyber attacks, competition in space, and ever more and accelerating disruptive technologies. It is a dangerous and competitive world. It's also a fast-paced and unpredictable world. It takes only a click of a button to shut down our networks. A single social media message to spread lies to our citizens. And a pandemic like COVID-19 to paralyze our societies. The meaning of security has dramatically changed. And so has the job of keeping us safe. It is not only that something that men and women in uniform back in NATO, not this one, do. It's something that we all do. Societal resilience is our first line of defense. For centuries, security in our democratic society has been tied not just to our ability to innovate, but to lead innovation. Today, that's more true than ever, especially in the field of technological innovation that you're super specialized in. The competition to develop and control disruptive technologies, as I said, is intensifying. It is the institutions like this one that we can address the challenges through innovation and, yes, the power of ideas. This is where you come in. We need your talent. We need your bright minds to drive innovation forward, faster, and to stay ahead of the competition. And to do so in a way that protects and enhances our rights and our freedoms and does not restrict or undermine them. We need your knowledge, sophistication, and expertise to manage data, to create algorithms, to understand smart systems, and much more. The clever use of technology is key to protect our societies, outsmart even the most formidable adversaries, and solve some of the greatest problems for human mankind. You know how to do that. And I want to make a point that I'm adamant about. We need more women in STEM. From getting more girls interested in studying science and tech in school, in high school, and in colleges and universities, to make more equal representation for women in the boardrooms of tech companies, and yes, on the political corridors of power. In today's more competitive and dangerous world, we simply cannot afford to leave half of the population and half of the finest talent behind. At NATO, we play our part, having long recognized the importance of women for our security and deterrence, integrating gender perspective in everything we do. I'm also proud that my alma mater, the Politehnică University of Bucharest, has reached almost gender parity amongst its students and graduates. So it can be done. I'm also happy to see so many young women around the class of 2023. Good work. We need more of you. We need all of you to be part of this journey. The second thing I know, and I know this one very well, is that not everyone in the world is free. This might sound like an obvious thing to say, but at a time when global freedom is declining, it is important to remember how lucky we are to live in democratic societies and to have the freedom to think, to innovate, to create and to be part of the greatest gift, which is our democratic and open societies. And sometimes we tend to forget how lucky we are. Here in the US, like in any other free country, talent can thrive. Creativity can be unleashed. I see this as a very precious gift. I'm also aware that others see it as a weakness and as a danger. There are regimes and politicians around the world that would like to control our freedom, and in doing so, to restrain individual and collective freedoms. And in the worst case scenario, happening many times, they punish those thinking outside their box and taking initiative. To anyone who believes that authoritarian regimes offer a better way of organizing the world, I would challenge them to try it for a while. I've done it half of my life in communist Romania. Please do not try it. It's not worth it. Believing otherwise equates to engaging in a Faustian pact, where you follow the rules, but in doing so, you sacrifice your very freedom. You end up enabling control and punishment. You side with Big Brother. So I know that democracy has lots of offer. I know that democracy has always to be replenished and renewed. But I know that democracy brings freedom, brings hope, opportunities, ideas. And I want you to cherish the gift you have and to make the most out of it. So, bring on crazy ideas. Believe the impossible to be possible. And as you strive for success, dare to take risks. Be disruptive. Have the courage to fail. Have the strength to bounce back. As leaders, you will need, as future leaders, you'll need to make the decision for yourselves. And in uncertain times, it's easy to get lost. I sometimes have the feeling I get lost. So I urge you, find in yourselves your own moral compass. It's not identical. We're not identical, we're different. We come from different backgrounds, from different religions, from many ethnic grounds, from different geographies. There is something universal about human dignity. In difficult times, develop and trust your moral compass. This will guide you through uncharted territories. This will give you the power of innovation. And also this will give you not only the power to innovate, but also the responsibility to have ethical guardrails for that. You are not only the future great innovators of your generation, but also the guardians of our freedom, of human dignity, and of our security. President Sands was kind enough to mention my bio. It's also in this perfect booklet. And if you read that, you have the impression that I've always been, moving upwards. No. My own career, my own life, has lots of ups and downs. I was declared victor in a presidential race in my country. The next morning, something dubious happened. It was gone. I felt how it feels to be let down. To have people that were applauding you because you were a big shot just turning their backs on you. How sometimes treason is part of life. But I have one message for you. If you believe in yourselves, if you build upon the fantastic education you're receiving in this great school, if you have your moral compass, you will always get up and move on. Nobody believed that after my complicated life in Romanian politics, I would be number 2 at NATO, the first from all new countries in NATO. There is always a chance to redeem yourself and move forward. Being a leader is not only when you're on the top. It's mainly when you're down. And when you have the strength to get up and continue to fight for the values you hold dear. Keep fighting for your values. And also, keep fighting for the values that develop when you're very young. Because as you grow a little bit older, you tend to be a little bit more cynical. Remember these fantastic dreams and romanticism of your young years. Keep them in your heart. Cherish those. And if you have doubts, remember this beautiful ceremony we are celebrating today together. Third, I know that cooperation makes us stronger. We can do much alone. Individualism and action for individual freedom is present, and in each of us there is that. But we can do so much more together, as individuals, as companies, as countries, as organizations, as human species. If you look around, you'll notice those sitting next to you, in front of you, behind you. You that you are friends after studying together, and many of your families that are meeting for the first time. Cherish that. Community is important. Individual freedom is important. Community service is also important. Think of your peers, of your friends, of your family members, your professors, and all the people who stand by you, encouraged you, sacrificed for you. We are a global community, and working together is a must. Adapting our societies to the global digital transformation and setting the pace of technological development is too big of a job for anyone to do it alone. Just like protecting 1 billion people that live in the NATO countries, 1 billion people, more than 50% of global GDP, is not only for NATO to do it alone. It is a team effort. When he spoke before the US Congress back in 2019, Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg was a very simple message to a joint session of US Congress. He said to America, it's good to have friends. I also say to you, my friends, it's good to have friends and have friendships, not only in your own country, but through this great school all around the world. At NATO, 31 countries from across Europe and North America stand together as friends and allies. Finland, a neutral country until recently, decided to become our 31st member. Soon we welcome Sweden, a country neutral since 1812. After the Napoleon War, decided to join our ranks and will be joining us soon. We cherish our partnerships with the United Nations, with the European Union, and with almost 40 nations around the world that are partners to my great organization. The value of NATO is that in a more dangerous world, no country stands alone. We have each other's backs. We defend one each other. All for one and one for all is our motto. It is our unity, our friendship, our close cooperation that makes us the strongest alliance in the world. Not only because we are numerous and we are having so much combined strength, but because we have the best universities, the best innovators, and we have the spirit of anticipation and permanent adaptation in our genes. So I'm proud to represent the organization that is considered by allies and foes alike as the most successful alliance in human history. And I will be proud to return to Washington next year for our summit marking our 75th anniversary and to renew our vows to defend freedom, to defend democracy, to defend the rule of law, and to defend our people, our territory, and yes, our values. But to remain strong and to be even stronger in an era of great power competition, it is essential that we continue to work together to sharpen our technological edge. I mentioned I chair the Innovation Board in NATO. You know, all our NATO countries have excellent academic institutions, creative companies and startups. I hope many of you will start one. Access to venture capital, the bedrocks of innovation. We have also the very fine compilation of scientists and researchers and a wealth of talent. This is the richness of my organization. I'm very proud that we launched this year the first ever Defense Innovation Accelerator for the North Atlantic, Diana, with more than 100 test centers and accelerators from all NATO countries to be at the service of startups that would like to test their ideas. come and use your ideas in Diana. We also started, and I'm very proud, that we have started the first ever multinational sovereign venture capital fund. Sounds a little bit of attention, you know what I'm saying? Multinational sovereign and venture capital? No, we started an innovation fund which will be run by professional startup people. So if you have ideas that are useful to us, use Diana, use the innovation fund. And if you want to join NATO, I also have us on the website jobs to offer for the ones who come. I'm consistent in my pitch to convince you guys to work for us as well, not only for others. To give an example how technology, that in the 50s and the 60s, 90% of the technology used for defense and security was produced by governments, was trickling down to the private sector. Today, 90% of the same technologies are produced by the private sector, and only 10% by governments. To give you an example, in 2017, US Navy officers were complaining that the controllers used to operate periscopes on submarines were too clunky. So the Navy replaced the traditional helicopter-style joysticks with Xbox controllers. Not only that they were dramatically cheaper, but they were also radically reduced the training time from hours to minutes. Smart, simple, hugely efficient. So I challenge all of you to put your clever brains together and come with some of the next groundbreaking innovations, big or small, that will make our world safer and our societies at peace. The future is in your hand, my dear friends. When I got my job in 2019, Secretary General Stoltenberg invites me in his office. We have offices back to back. He said, Mircea, I know that we are working great together, but I have one specific job for you. I said, what? I want you to be the champion of innovation in NATO. Okay. Probably he knew that I was an engineer as a foundation. But today, my dear friends, I'm here to pass the relay to you. I want you to be the champions of innovation in everything you do, in every corner of the world, in every piece of your professional, personal, or community lives. Be the champions of innovation. Change the world. Don't let the world change you. Lead. Don't be just followers. Innovate. Don't be just imitators. Follow your moral compass and make a difference in other people's life, not only in your own. And I have today just 3 mantras that I'm leaving with you from all my heart, with all the love I have for great, fine academic institutions and for the young generation. Share what you know, the world needs it. Nurture cooperation, it provides strength. And most of all, cherish your freedom. Cherish your freedom. It's truly a gift. Cherish your freedom to innovate in every single corner of our societies. Never give up. Always challenge the status quo. No matter the hardships, no matter the confrontation, no matter the discouragements. And more importantly, as I mentioned before, as you grow older, maintain this enthusiasm, this beauty of your heart, of your young hearts and souls. By doing so, you'll unleash your true leadership potential. You'll be speaking truth to power. You'll stand out and you'll grow. Very much like the lonely, inverted pyramid at CIT, you'll not only be a misfit, but a trailblazer, a pioneer. It's in your hands. Be the leaders that you can become. Be the leaders that you will become. And take over the relay. Be champions of innovation and freedom and cooperation around this beautiful world of ours. God bless you. Congratulations, class of 2023.